the man no one wanted to serve. The restaurant buzzed with people, tourists, businessmen, loud conversations, clattering plates. But when the old Japanese man walked in, leaning lightly on a wooden cane, wearing an outdated grey coat and simple slippers, every head turned for the wrong reasons. He didn't look rich, didn't look important, didn't look like someone worth serving. The hostess glanced at him once and shifted her eyes away as if he were invisible. The waiters pretended to be too busy. Customers frowned because he looked out of place in a luxury style cafe built for the trendy and wealthy. He stood there patiently, bowing slightly every few seconds, as though apologizing for taking up space. Minutes passed and no one approached him. He tried asking softly, "Excuse me, table?" But no one listened. Some whispered cruel things. "Wrong place. Grandpa, he should go to a cheap cafe. Probably can't pay." But the old man simply kept smiling politely. That's when Aisha, a young waitress working double shifts to pay for her dying mother's hospital bills, noticed him. She had been running around non-stop, exhausted, overwhelmed. But when she saw how everyone ignored the man, something inside her sparked. She walked straight to him, bowed respectfully and said gently, "Irashaimase, irashaimase." "Welcome." The old man's eyes widened, the first warmth he received all day. The entire restaurant froze. Nobody knew she spoke Japanese. Aisha guided him to the best seat, not the hidden corner everyone expected, but a window table with sunlight touching it. She served him tea, instantly recognizing from the way he held the cup that he came from a traditional Japanese background. She spoke to him softly in his own language, not perfect, but respectful. "Duzo. Goyukuri, please. Oh, take your time." The old man trembled, not from age but from emotion. For years, since moving to different countries, he had rarely heard anyone speak to him in Japanese with such sincerity. He told her his name was Mr. Hayato, that he had been traveling alone, trying to visit the places where he once invested decades ago, but no one cared about him anymore because of how ordinary he looked. Aisha listened with genuine interest, unlike everyone else who only cared about tips or appearances. When she brought his meal, she arranged it in proper Japanese aesthetic. Rice on the left, soup on the right, main dish centered, something she learned from her Japanese language class years ago. The old man looked at her and whispered, "You remind me of my granddaughter." That was when Aisha noticed his hands, trembling, not from weakness, but from loneliness. What she didn't know was that she was serving Hayato Nakamura, founder of a global tech empire, one of Japan's most silent billionaires, a man whose net worth was enough to buy the entire city block they were standing in. But he hid his identity. He wanted to see how people treated someone who appeared ordinary, and they failed, everyone except her. At the end of his meal, Aisha slipped a handwritten note under the tray. "You deserve kindness. Thank you for visiting." She didn't expect anything in return, didn't know she had just changed the course of her future. Mr. Hayato left quietly. No one noticed him walking out. But he looked back at the restaurant one last time, not at the building, not at the people, but at Aisha, the girl who spoke his language when the world had chosen silence, the reveal that shook the entire city. The next morning, the restaurant was chaos. Black luxury cars lined the street, men in suits guarded the entrance, and a red carpet was laid out without warning. The manager panicked, thinking the government was inspecting them. Employees whispered nervously, afraid they were being shut down. But Aisha, arriving late because she had spent all night at the hospital with her mother, walked quietly past the crowd, and everyone stared at her. A man in a sharp black suit approached her, bowed deeply and said, "Madam, Mr. Nakamura is waiting for you." The entire staff froze. "Who?" someone whispered. "The billionaire?" Another gasped. Before she could understand what was happening, Aisha was escorted inside. The restaurant had been transformed, flowers, banners, and a large screen displaying the name Nakamura Global Holdings. And then, standing in the middle, was the old man from yesterday. Except now he wore an elegant traditional kimono, flanked by media cameras and executives. Aisha's heart raced. This couldn't be real. The same man everyone ignored was now standing as one of the world's richest and most influential leaders. When he saw her, he bowed deeply, a gesture so powerful that even the CEOs surrounding him stepped back. "Yesterday," he said in Japanese, loud enough for the cameras, "one girl showed me respect when everyone else refused to see my humanity." Gasps filled the room. Aisha's co-workers looked down, ashamed. The manager nearly fainted. Mr. Nakamura continued, "I tested this restaurant, and she was the only one who passed." Then he reached into his sleeve and pulled out a sealed envelope with gold markings. "This," he said, handing it to her, "is a full scholarship to complete your Japanese studies abroad, including living expenses." Aisha burst into tears. She didn't even know what to say. But he wasn't done. He motioned to his board of directors, and they stepped aside to reveal a contract, a job offer from Nakamura. Global as an international cultural liaison, starting salary more than she had ever dreamed of. Everyone's jaws dropped. "Why me?" she cried. "Because kindness is rare," he answered, "and those who carry it deserve doors to open." But then, the most shocking moment came. Mr. Nakamura asked to visit her mother at the hospital. They accompanied her in a convoy of black luxury cars. When he saw her mother lying weak on the bed, he held her hand respectfully and said, "Your daughter is extraordinary. And starting today, all your medical bills are covered." Aisha and her mother broke down in tears. Nurses gathered speechless. The next day, the news went viral across Asia. Billionaire rewards. Waitress who treated him with respect. Restaurant staff under fire. Suddenly, every door that had been closed in Aisha's life swung wide open. Her mother recovered. Aisha traveled to Japan. She became a bridge between cultures, admired across nations for her humility and heart. But she never forgot the moment that changed everything, speaking to someone in their own language, when no one else bothered to speak at all.